My name is Lachelle Marlowe, and I just wanted to introduce myself. Why should you care, you may be saying? Fair point. But I thought it would be really interesting to let you know that I'm very passionate about working in collaboration with moms who have high-functioning autistic kids who present with challenging behaviors. If this resonates with you, come a little closer. I think we need to have a chat. Do you ever feel overwhelmed when your little one has physical outbursts? Who do you talk to? Where do you go for help? Does preparing for another day of school feel like World War III? I can really relate to that. Do you feel like the parent outcast who gets the death ray stares from other parents along the school corridors because people just don't understand your situation? Do you wish to go places without feeling like, oh my goodness, I have to go on a reconnaissance mission because I don't know what to expect, because the outbursts always happen? When is the last time you experienced a joyful moment? When was the last time you had some time for yourself, some self-care, some TLC? From my own experience, these moments were few and far between and almost non-existent. I can relate to those feelings and encountering a sense of overwhelm and many times feelings of helplessness, trying to figure out how to help my little one and how to help me. Depending on where you are on your journey as a parent with these unique set of circumstances, you may have a barrage of questions, encounter a number of experiences, or just getting started and trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out. For the benefit of getting on the same page, here's a brief definition of autism by the Autistic Society. It is a complex, lifelong developmental disability that typically appears during early childhood and can impact on a person's social skills, communication, relationships, and self-regulation. We'll definitely circle back around to the self-regulation because it features, I know from my experience and many other parents that I've spoken to, it features a lot. Autism is defined by a certain set of behaviors and is a spectrum condition that affects people differently and to varying degrees. While there is currently no known single cause of autism, early diagnosis helps a person receive the impact and the support and services that they need, which can lead to a quality life filled with opportunities. You might feel isolated, frustrated, not sure of how to go about things. I can relate. This can feel so overwhelming. Feelings like maybe you don't have anyone to speak to. Navigating services can be so overwhelming and can just take the wind out of you. I definitely know firsthand about that. I've lost track of times of them, the number of times people have offered unsolicited, unwarranted advice that's sometimes terribly unhelpful. I've even had people tell me, oh, you're just bad, or you're doing something wrong, or the most outlandish one I can think of, they just need a spanking. Well, by then I had a little bit more strong voice to say, hey, maybe I should practice that barbaric practice on you and see how that makes you feel. These kind of suggestions, sometimes people may be coming from a well-meaning place. Sometimes they can just be awful. It's about educating people and being an advocate to say, hey, this is our life. This is our experience. We won't be silenced. We need our needs to be met, and we need support. If this sounds like the kind of community that resonates with you or your experience, we'll be kicking things off with a free webinar on home and life schooling. That's right. It shouldn't be a place of last resort when you are just overcome and don't know where else to go. But in order to have an informed, meaningful experience and decision making, you need to know what the facts are and how they relate to you. And just some interesting facts of why it's important to maybe start this community and start this dialogue from this place. Let me just come on in and let me kick some statistics at you. Did you realize, according to the National Autistic Society, 17% of autistic children have been suspended from school? 48% of these children have been suspended 3 or more times. That's right, 3 or more times. Some of the most vulnerable young people in our society. 4% have been expelled from 1 or more schools. I know firsthand from our own experience the impact that this can have. It can be absolutely devastating for you, for your child, upsetting for, in terms of your work life and family balance. It can be really overwhelming. This is an area that from the very beginning has been a challenge to us. I have had many sleepless nights trying to navigate through this endless minefield, attempting to fit our unique circular family circumstances into a square system peg. And I gotta tell you, it may not be a surprise. It did not fit, and it never really has done. Let me just say, life in homeschooling is not for every child. It's not for every family, but important to have a meaningful discussion in a safe environment with key information so each family, given their children's unique needs, can make an informed decision to ascertain if this would be the best approach versus being construed as the option of last resort. This webinar will explore some key aspects of what we may wish to consider in terms of homeschooling and life schooling, and things you may want to think about when considering this. So some of the key areas of the webinar will be what rights parents have to homeschool your children in the United Kingdom, which is where we're based. What are some of the pros and cons to potentially take this approach? Some educational approaches that may be beneficial when considering this as maybe a way that you might want to navigate through. Some tips, practical tips to maybe help to consider. We look forward to having you join this webinar. Please ensure that you provide your contact details on the lead page that will be provided up top. Make sure you swipe up top, so that way you can be added to our list. Completely confidential. We really take your data management very, very seriously. And also, just as important, if you or someone you know within your sphere of influence has been impacted by some of the issues discussed, please feel free to share it with them as well. We look forward to the next webinar, and once you get on the list, we'll let you know when they're scheduled. It's going to be a short, snappy, interesting, engaging session that we hope that you find useful. Thank you so much for your time today. Love, blessings, and lights to you and your family, and we look forward to getting to know you in this space. Bye.